Here's something that I love about what you're saying. You're not taking ownership for the market. You're saying the market is telling us because we don't control the market. The first strategy is we price it right where the market has been. And as you can see right now, the market is telling us that number is going to be somewhere between 275 and 285. Now, when we do that, what ends up happening is the more fair that a home is priced for the market, not underpriced, is the more buyers that show up. Okay, so let's talk about where those deals are going to come from. Right now, you have one. Do you have any other listings active?
Two listings active.
Okay, two active listings now, and you're going to have one on in 3 weeks. So that one's not on our radar yet. You'll
No,
tell
no,
me.
that's not. That's something that is coming. Well,
All right.
actually, we're gonna be having next month two more listings. So total it will be three that I know so far. But
Okay.
those are gonna be probably closings for March or April. So those will not be closings for next month.
Correct. Yes. So two more listings next in February are coming on, correct?
Yes.
Do you have those listings signed yet?
No, I don't. But those are investors that I've been working for so long.
Okay.
So
You
I'm
got
not
them.
worried that they're gonna go away because I am the one that's helped them to acquire that house.
Okay.
And the deal that we have is they acquired the house, and I helped them to list the property.
All right. So right now, two listings. What do you got? Who are you working with for buyers that are potential to go under contract?
Okay, so I have four investors that they're ready to buy. Yesterday, that's why it was a little bit of a headache for me, is because I went out with both of them. One of
Did
them
you say
from
four investors total
yes,
that
four
want to buy
investors.
something?
Yes, that they're
Okay.
ready. That they are ready. So yesterday I went with one of them from 2 to 4, and the other one from 4, pretty much kind of 5:30 because it was getting dark.
Okay.
So they do like a house. I was doing some diligence on the property that they're going to be buying. It looks like everything is going well. So we're going to be submitting an offer probably before the end of the day. I'm just waiting for one more confirmation from this investor, and then most likely we're going to be putting an offer.
Okay. So
And
that's
it's going to be and it's going to be an offer that I'm expecting to be accepted because it is on what they're actually asking for.
okay.
So we're not going to be asking for anything less.
What's the address for that property just so that I can make note of it?
That one it is on the MLS, and that one is on.
So you want three under contract. What about the rest of the buyers? What do you think the likeliness? Do you have properties identified or do you still have to show?
No, I have properties identified, one of them, which I'm going to be going this evening to show. It is in
Okay.
Castleberry. It is a lot of work on that property, but this investor, he can make it happen. We're going to go check it out. If he like it, most likely we're going to put an offer. So right now,
Okay.
it's very possible to go with this investor to go on the contract, to have three properties in the contract. Very possible.
Okay.
Right now, it's just a matter of finding the right properties because they're ready. They have the funds. It's just a matter of finding the right investment properties. At the same time, you do have some probates. Sometimes they are really good investment. If you run into one of them, please let me know.
I will for sure. What is it that these investors are looking for?
Anything 200,000 or less, they can go up to 250. So it depends on the property. It depends on the property. But most of the times when it's 200,000, it goes cash. After 200,000, above 200,000, most of the times they have to get a private loan.
Okay. Do they have resources for a private loan?
Well, for a private loan, absolutely.
Okay.
Because, private loan requires 80, 20, 30% down. And of
Okay.
course, they have that plus the renovations.
All right. So if I come across one that's over 250, you still want me to talk to you about it?
If it's a great deal, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All
Because
right.
remember, they have like a budget of 200,000. So if they get a private loan, they can only gonna be putting 20 to 30% down, and the rest will be to renovate.
It's not a cap of 250. It's preferred to be 250. However, they can go higher. I'll keep
They
that in
can go
mind.
higher. They can
All
go
right.
higher. As long as the numbers make sense, they can go
So I guess let's talk about your listings. And then the other buyers, you're just going to be working to see what it sounds like. Do you have to just schedule meetings with those other two buyers?
One of them is in Sanford. That one is, we just lowered the price last week.
Okay. You went from 3049 to 295.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got on November 11th, you did a price change. You started this one in July at 329.9.
Which was
Now,
overpriced. I knew from the beginning that was overpriced.
okay.
When I actually talked to the lady, I did tell her when we start that in my opinion was to list it a little bit below 300,000. So the price that we have it right now, this is what I suggest to list at the beginning. And I told her that at the point that when we list this property, this should sell between 280 and 300 pretty much.
Okay.
Now, the market has actually changed a little bit. So right now it's even a little bit less. So so that's something that we're revising. So she's aware of the situation. And if for some reason in 3 weeks we don't get the gold, most likely we need to do another reduction because at this point she does need to sell.
What? Okay. So her motivation is that she needs to sell. What is her motivation?
Well, the thing is that she's pretty much an investor. So her motivation right now is the time, but at the same time, because everything is paid off, I don't know why she had in her, and I don't know how she came with the number that her house was worth around 300 or a little bit more, which when I show her all the comparables, I did advise her that's not the case because of the square footage, because she was comparing this house for other properties that they were 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, but they were bigger properties. And I actually told her there's not only the bedrooms, it's also the size of the house. This is a small house. Her motivation right now is before she was not that motivated. She like it's paid off. Let's see if something happened. Right now, because the time has actually passed, so at this point she is more into okay. Let's see what we need to do in order to make it happen.
Was this a rental for her?
No, it was a flip for her. It's a flip.
Oh, okay. So she does not want to keep this as a rental.
No, that was one of the choices, but at the same time, I actually asked her. I told her, this will be a good rental for you, even though that doesn't benefit me, but she wants to sell, which is good.
So then how long? Okay. And it's been on the market for how long is your listing? I see you're on for 140 days.
Yeah, we renew it. We renew it. So we just renew it. Like I said, she didn't have motivation to sell.
How has activity been since you lowered the price?
Uh, I think only 2 people went to see it. When I asked them, one of them said that it was too small. The other one did not reply.
All right.
They said,
So
nice, good house, but too small for my
are
family.
there other comps around her that have sold since she's been on the market, Freddie?
There is the last ones that I send them. It shows like an average of 380, 385 for a property like this.
385?
I'm sorry, 280, 285
For a similar property. Okay.
correct.
All right. So she's been at this new price since the 9th, and and today is the 15th. In 6 days, she's had two showings. Two
Two
showings.
showings.
So it's picking up. However, the feedback has been, all right, so how can I best help you on this? Do you want to go through dialogue around a price reduction?
If it doesn't actually sell in 2 weeks, absolutely, we need to go into another price reduction.
Well, so here's my thought. If she's, and you're giving her feedback how often?
Once a week, every Friday.
All right, so every Friday, that's good that you've got it set because they can count on that. And is it going out how? Email? Are you calling her?
I sent her an email, but I also called her.
Okay.
I advise her, check your email. This is how the activity is going. And if you have any questions, call me. So both, I call her and I send her an email.
All right. So when you do listings, how are you setting up? What script are you using to begin with to do the listing presentation? And then are you setting her up and how are you setting her up for having to change the price down the road? What does that look like or sound like?
Well, for this one, it's a little bit different. Now, it depends. When I go into a listing presentation, I go with the comparables and I tell them, first of all, what if they have any price in mind. if the price that they have in mind is very similar to mine, so then I told them that's a great news because that's pretty much what the market is showing us. And based on this price, we should be able to have this proper in the contract within the next couple of weeks. And I did advise them, the market right now is not like it used to be before. Right now, properties are taking a little more time to sell. That doesn't mean that at the right price we may even have an offer this week. But at the same time, I just want to let you know that an average price, an average home right now is taking around 2.5 months to sell, and that's as a reasonable price. Now, if you want to price above what the market is selling us, we may run into a situation like most of these other listings that are around your property. And I also take some properties that they have that they're above what the market is selling, but at the same time they have like 150 days, 200 days. And I told them, if we go above what the market is actually telling us that this property may sell, we may run into the same situation as these other people. As you can see, they're asking $20,000 more, as an example, but they already have 200 days on the market. And that's something that you don't want, correct? And they said, no, we want to sell it as soon as possible. So I said, so let's stick what the market is telling us. And you're right, the market is telling us that this house should sell around this price. That's normally with an average, seller. This investor is a little bit different in particular. And because everything is paid off, the money is not urgent, so they want to put it out there to see what she can get. But right now, she realized that definitely she will not get any offers at all above 300,000. So that's something that she's realizing now. And I also advise her, even at 295, is not a guarantee that we're going to get an offers. If we don't get an offers in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to show you, the activity that we're having. And if we see that, more than 10 agents have seen your property and there's no offers, that still means that, that we are actually above what the market is telling us that this house is worth. Or if we don't have any showings at all, it's the same thing. The market is telling us that your property is above what is really worth, and we need to adjust the price to the right, to the value that this property will sell. So we do have these conversations with most sellers, and in this one in particular, I did advise you that. I said, even the 295 right now is not a guarantee that we're going to have an offer, because I advised you 6 months ago, let's put that 295. But that was 6 months ago. From 6 months ago to now,
okay,
this is how the market has changed. The properties that they were selling at 300,000 6 months ago, right now they're around 280.
Okay, so here's something that I love about what you're saying. You're not taking ownership for the market. You're saying the market is telling us.
Yeah, because that it
You're
is.
using, yeah, because we don't control the market.
Mhm.
Um, I think you're using, I think you need to consider economy of words. Economy, right, means if I have a car that gets great economy in gas mileage, it's using less gas.
Okay.
So economy of words is less words.
Okay.
So the first thing that I'm going to go over is how to describe and give people a choice on strategy. Okay.
Okay.
That's at the listing presentation. So Freddie, would it be okay if I went over the two strategies that we typically will use or that we see sellers use in the market to ensure that you get a great result? First strategy is we price it right where the market has been. And as you can see right now, based on what the market is telling us and the comparables are telling us, that number is going to be somewhere between 275 and 285. Now, when we do that, Freddie, what ends up happening is the more fair that a home is priced for the market, not underpriced, fairly priced, is the more buyers that show up. The more buyers that show up is a greater chance that we'll have more than one buyer that wants your home at the same time, which means if we get more than one offer at the same time, we get to negotiate from a position of strength. which is what you want, right?
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay, now the second strategy that is available to sellers in today's market is we price above the market, beyond the market. And here's what we find happening when we do that. When we price above the market in today's market, we may not get enough showings to where that we have more than one buyer interested at the same time. Or we get fewer showings and we sit on the market for an extended period of time, like more days than the market tells us is normal. So here's a question for you. If you were a buyer working with me and there was a home that had more days, let's say the average days on market are 50 for a community, and we're at 70 days on market, what questions are you going to ask me as your agent about that property?
Yeah, why it's not selling? Are you doing your job?
Why it's not selling? Also, you know what else I hear from buyers? When something's on the market longer than it's supposed to be, they ask what's wrong with that property. Or and you know what? You and I both know that there's nothing wrong with your home. It's just that a stigma like that causes us to get into a position where the buyers think that there's something wrong, and then we invite lowball offers. So, of these two strategies, number one and number two, which one do you think makes more sense to you?
The first one.
I would agree. May I offer a suggestion?
Sure.
Let's price it so that it's fairly priced for the market. Let's attract more buyers so that we can get you into a position where we can negotiate from a position of strength.
Uh, yeah, but let me ask you something, Mark. You did mention between 275 and 285, but Zillow is saying 300.
Okay. All right. So that's a good question, and thank you for bringing that up. So you realize that Zillow is an algorithm, that's a computer-driven number, correct?
Yeah, I guess.
And Zillow on their own website themselves say that their numbers could be 7% off in one direction or the other direction. That's a 14% difference. Now on $300,000, 14% is like $30,000.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So my question to you is now that you've seen these properties, you've gone through the information with me. If you were to make an offer on your home, having seen the homes that are available for sale, their price, features, and condition, and also the homes that are currently that have recently sold, like say in the last 6 months, their price, features, and condition. Honestly, where would you feel comfortable making an offer on your home that would be reflective of fair market value? Because most buyers are going to feel pretty similar to you. Would you offer what Zillow says, or would you offer where the market is?
Well, if I'm a buyer, what the market, what you're showing me.
Okay. So, I mean, again, we can price where Zillow says, which is beyond the market, and you know what happens there. We have more days on market, and buyers start asking what's wrong with the home, or we can price it right for the market, get you more showings, get you more buyers, and more potential to negotiate from strength. Whichever makes sense to you, I'll support you 100%. What would you like to do, Freddie?
Well, in this case, I don't want to hold it for so long. So I'm assuming let's make it let's price it right.
Okay, I agree with you. Why don't we put it out there at the 275?
275 to 280. You said between 275 and 285.
Yep.
Yeah, can we start maybe at 285?
Yeah, that's part of the range. We can do that. Would you feel comfortable pricing it at the 285?
If you don't think that we can get more, yes, because I don't want to have it for so long either for sale.
Again, keep in mind, it's if you were buying this home all over again based on the comparables that we've just looked at, where would you feel comfortable making an offer that you believe is fair? Would you say that 285 is fair?
Based on what you're showing me, I think around 280, yeah, in that range.
Okay, so do you want to price it at the 280 or 285?
Let's give it a 285, and if it doesn't sell maybe in a couple of weeks, we can always adjust.
Okay,
Would that
great.
work?
Okay, great. Thank you. Was that helpful?
Absolutely. Thank you, Mark.
We've got to give them choices. If we just talk, and selling is not telling. Selling is asking a series of questions that leads the seller or the buyer to their desired outcome. So let me ask you, Freddie, what would happen if, like, on the outside chance that we're still sitting on the market and we haven't sold at, let's say, 2 months from now, in a market where inventory is rising and prices are coming down, what would that do for you? How would that affect you
Are you telling me as an agent, or are you telling me if I was the seller?
as a seller?
As a
That's
seller, most likely that the price of my house will go down too.
exactly. So I guess my question to you is if we are seeing inventory rise and pricing come down, would it make sense then the next seller that sells, that's the seller that's going to win because they're going to sell for the next highest price. Do you want to be that seller, or are you open to, being out there longer and waiting while prices continue to fall?
No, no, I'd rather sell it as soon as possible before the prices go down.
I agree. I want more money in your pocket. Why don't we do the right thing? Let's get it priced correctly today. So that way you're the next home to sell. And then let's leave all these other sellers in the dust. Let them fight it out after prices have come down even more. Make sense?
Absolutely. Okay, let's do that.
Perfect. So what we're doing is keep in mind, people will always move towards pleasure, right? And they're
Mhm.
going to move away from pain. So what I've just done by asking that question, on the outside chance, Freddie, of what would it be like for you? How would it affect you if you were still on the market, let's say in May?
Ooh, no, that's definitely forcible. I'll definitely, it's going to be less money in my pocket because I do have to pay more in insurance. I do have to pay more in taxes. And at the same time, if the prices go down, definitely that's going to affect drastically. Like they say,
Yep,
time is money.
I agree. Okay, so does that help you, Freddie?
Yes, thank you, Mark. And I'll go over this because I think that's a great script that you did. And I'm going to implement it on the next, in a couple of weeks when it's time to make a price reduction.
I would call her before then. I would say right now, this is our feedback. On your next call, I would implement and I would say, "Yeah, I'm curious, how would it affect you if we were still on the market in April with prices still coming down?" And just see
And
what she says.
let's see, because we're actually having open house this weekend because we lowered the price.
Yeah.
After after we do all this advertisement that we're actually doing right now in the
Yeah.
open house, if we don't get any results, I'm gonna definitely do that
Okay.
because then I need to give them another feedback.
And if you need to review this again, let me know.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it.